Okay, it's going live. You're live.
We'll call the November Water and Wastewater Commission meeting to order. Start out with roll call.
Alderperson Newman. Commissioner Engel.
Aye.
Commissioner Frings.
Here.
Commissioner Passbreak.
Here.
Commissioner Bushki.
Here. Next is citizens' comments. Just state your name and.
Kurt Schmidt, owner of Bainville Piggly Wiggly. I'm here in front of you guys because we've had an issue in the last 6 months, well, even a little bit more than that, in regards to our water bill going up quite a bit. We found out the issue finally. Bernard Plumbing came in, checked a lot of different things out, and we found out that they actually had a solenoid issue on the back of one of our dishwashers that wasn't working properly, so it was pumping water straight into the ground instead of actually going through our dishwasher and doing the job right. So, and I don't know if you have it in front of you at all as far as our.
We can. Usually we take commentary first and then these guys, oh, you have it already. Never mind, just kidding. It's all right there.
So I told Courtney, you've been great working with me on this because we've been trying to hunt down to find out what the problem was, and we got it fixed in late October. We finally figured out the issue. As you can see, ever since January, when you get the chance to look at it, you start to see everything started to creep up. And then it really hit hard in September. So our average water usage was always in that 1,074 to 1,198 range. And as I've been paying a lot more because of the water usage, and of course the sewer, which again, it wasn't even going through to be treated because it was going straight down. So that's why.
So what we normally do on this is we take the advisory at this meeting and then we'll put you on the agenda for next meeting
That'd be
for
great.
more discussion.
No problem.
Unless anybody's got any questions now.
Which is gonna be, I think it's 12-2 or something.
Because theoretically, we can't discuss it when it's not on the agenda.
So it's a December 5th.
December 5th.
Yeah, December 5th, 4 o'clock.
Is that alternate 4 o'clock as well then?
Yes, yep.
Very good.
Thank
you.
And I can send you something.
That'd be great.
Agenda. Okay.
Thanks for all your help, and I look forward to seeing you guys then.
Yep.
Have a good night, guys.
Thanks,
Good
Greg.
night.
Thank you very much.
Any other citizens' comments? Seeing none, we'll move on to approval of the consent agenda, which consists of October 3rd minutes and then both the water and wastewater bills. So I'll take a motion in a second and we'll have discussion.
So move.
I'll second.
Any questions or comments? No questions? Then we'll take roll call on that.
Commissioner Engel.
Aye.
Commissioner Frings.
Aye.
Commissioner Passbreak.
Aye.
Commissioner Bushki.
Aye. Next is discussion of possible action regarding contracts for Suez/Veolia for well and iron filter maintenance.
So these contracts, well, I noticed there's 2 different dates. So we must have had an issue with well number 2 prior to the remainder of the contracts. In order to not re-up this contract for another 10 years, we need at least 90 days notice, which we're far enough out. One of them started in 2015 was the first contract for renewal. I think going forward with the, like rehabbing the different well houses and things, we're not gonna have quite as much issues. I know we were in a dire situation at the time these were made. So I guess the decision is if you guys wanna re-up another 10 years or we send a letter to kind of go on our own. We've been
When is the
thinking,
contract up? 2 different dates.
there's 2 different dates. The first one for well number 2 is up, December 2000. Well,
They should all be together.
they're not. One's 15 and the rest are 16.
That.
Cause well number 2 must have had issue first.
Yeah, it went from a vertical turbine well to a submersible.
So we must have done that and then the rest kind of came after as a contingency planning effort. But I don't want this to slip through the cracks either and get stuck for 10 years if we don't.
But I don't think we
do
should.
that. I don't think we need it going forward, especially if we're rehabilitating and we have a regular scheduled maintenance.
Did you ever
Going
check
forward.
into what a regular rehab would be every 10 years? That's what you recommend doing them, right?
We have a bunch of stuff out reaching out to the companies that do it. The problem is a lot of them do regular well maintenance and they don't do iron filter contracts. So we need a good recommendation for iron filters. But yeah, this is one thing. I don't think it needs to be at least 90 days before, and there's instructions in this contract on how to discontinue, but if we do it one bulk mailing, cancel, it's probably gotta go through the lawyer for verbiage and all that stuff too before we get it there, so. And there's
So you're
three,
looking for a recommendation
Yeah.
to not renew the contract, this
Yeah.
maintenance contract.
I think it would be in our best interest.
Yeah, it seemed like a good idea at the time, but
Yeah.
we know they were gonna change ownership and company.
They have 3 different ownerships since I've been here, yeah.
When we
it's-
did it though, they were investor out.
Yep. Yeah, and it's what you needed to do to get well number 2 up and
But
going,
you're just gonna have to, in the future, without this, is budget money
Yep.
every year to put away for.
regular maintenance and,
I called a few well drillers, I got it set up, they'll just put us on a year-to-year basis PM contract. No,
I just
That's what
wonder
I've
what
always
it costs,
done in
I
the
think,
past.
yeah, before we were on this, a rehab would be anywhere from $50,000 to $75,000. It's probably double that by now.
Yep.
And that didn't include the iron filter.
no,
it's been extremely difficult to work with to this point since the change of,
Well,
The
more
hardest-
than once, right?
yeah.
the hardest part of the whole thing is, there's a lot of fine print in there. And every time something goes wrong, sucks, it's not in scope of work, it's not in our scope of contract. It's very, very, very fine print, it's gotta be, nothing's in the scope of work, every time we've got an issue.
And Waterwell's hands are tied too, because they contract with them, but they're the, governing authority to tell them what to do and if they're gonna pay for the work. So we have to call some guy in Georgia that doesn't answer
A
ever.
little bit of this sounds like they bit off more than what they could. chew
Yeah,
with,
I think
too.
so.
And now it just changed hands again 2 months ago.
So, yeah, it's a little early, but we know going forward what they're bound to in these contracts through year 10. I just don't want this, whatever situation happens in the city, I don't want it to slip through.
Wouldn't it
And
be
yet-
best in our interest not to let them know until the 90 days?
That's what I was
right
thinking.
there.
But one guy
Otherwise,
did-
they're gonna say, well, they're not renewing anything.
One guy did say you gotta give them a year notice.
It's 90 days in the contract, but
But
he
he
did tell
said,
us a
in the
year.
best interest of anyone, he would tell them a year in advance
Yeah, you give them a
to cover
year.
they're gonna do that last year.
So we're
pulling
looking
that
for a
up.
motion and a second for Courtney to go ahead and terminate, well, it's not really terminate,
Just
non-renew,
non-renewal.
non-renew the contract.
There was a lot of paper for us.
I'll second that.
So a motion and a second to not renew our contract, our well maintenance contract.
It's wells 2, 3, 4, and 5 and iron filtration contracts.
Any further discussion? We'll take roll call on that.
Commissioner Engel,
Aye.
Commissioner Frings,
Aye.
Commissioner Fastbreak,
Aye.
Commissioner Bushki.
Aye. Next is discussion possible action regarding implementation of chloride reduction program in partnership with Culligan.
So this came as a recommendation from the DNR when they came for our sanitary survey. We have a really hard time meeting chloride limits. We know that a good chunk of it is industrial, but they want us to be proactive essentially in taking a reduction anywhere. We're in Wisconsin, it's kind of hard to say don't salt the roads. I don't know that that's a great option to try to reduce road salt.
Our responsibility to reduce that.
Yeah, that one's pretty difficult. One of the big ones is the household usage that they've been pretty successful with. Impact wise, I don't know how much it would be, but, we are not currently able to meet chloride limits for about 4 months out of the year usually. And some of it's industrial, we're working with them on the chloride reduction too, but if we can get a little reduction from households, ancient softeners and things like that, Culligan's willing to work with us. Nobody would be required to do that, but
What months out of the year you have trouble meeting the limits?
Like July through October.
Probably the Seneca, right?
They've had, and we've been working with them. We got it down. It was pretty good to this point. But even without them, our baseline is so close. We have a 555 milligram per liter limit. And what they care about more so is the pounds per day. So that poundage that's coming out is weather dependent too. So if I have a high flow day, and then you do the math on the pounds per day that's discharged, you're in trouble.
So what would Culligan do?
So Culligan would offer an incentive. They would do a free inspect and check. And obviously Culligan is a business, so they would, if you sign up for a free inspect and check, they would probably offer you product of some sort, but that's, at your discretion if you want to sign up for it. They've worked with other communities. I guess what we were looking at to incentivize, because we do have a permit renewal coming too, and our chloride limits aren't going to get better. They're going to get stricter, and we might have overages and fees coming down for environmental fees for that too. It's just standard everywhere.
So what it basically is, you just want to get rid of the water softeners with the timers and go to the demand.
Yep.
I thought we had an ordinance stating that.
Well, as you can't buy one with a timer anymore, to my knowledge, so.
But they're all in existence.
Yeah, they're in.
And there's, incentives for customers too, because your salt usage is less, you're not hauling it down the stairs. But what they usually do is Culligan offers a discount and, like he said, $200. And the municipality also offers $200 to incentivize getting rid of replacing that softener.
How much is a water softener?
$2,000.
$1,000.
Yeah, I would say probably depending on the brand. They only install high efficiency and they do the settings. They don't do like a factory setting Menards type deal there either.
I don't know how much less salt I can use. I use 2 bags a year.
Oh, yeah. Yours must be okay.
2 people and,
Yeah. Or
and
your water
it's
usage.
computerized on demand and, so.
Yeah, so yours is extremely efficient and
Yeah.
talk to somebody who has maybe not so much and,
Well, and for 6 people, I imagine, so.
yep. Yeah, if it's a timered one, I've seen people go through like 6 bags a month at some point. That's kind of crazy.
So how would we, rebate?
We have our first customer, 6 bags a
How would
month.
we rebate the people from the city's portion of this $200?
Well, it'd have to come out of the sewer side funding. Obviously, it can't go in water, but the effluent concentration is what's concerning. That's a good question as to where the funding, where that comes from.
I think it's a good idea, but how many people are gonna do it is another question.
Well, right, but a lot of it is getting that information out there, and if we're making a good faith effort to offer these programs, that satisfies,
Well, I think
The
we should
program.
offer it.
yeah,
I'm wondering how many people would do it too, but.
yeah.
I mean, does Culligan say more than 20 people have to do it or 100
No.
people have to do it?
No,
Nothing.
just at their discretion. If they choose to call, they can. If
Or
they,
was it one municipality and you had that one person did it?
yeah,
Where was that? Yeah,
yeah, sometimes it's 1, sometimes it's 10 of them, if you can get a couple a year,
Can't you get some cities from him and call them and just, ask them how
see how
many
many that yeah, we can do that.
Where the funding,
Yeah,
We can do that.
where that money comes
I
on.
mean, it sounds like a decent program, the one that we should.
Because,
If they do a checkup too, that might solve some of it, because I'm sure some people got it cranked up and don't even know it.
Right.
So.
And that part they would offer, they said for free, the inspect and check. Obviously, it's a form of sales to a degree, but there's a little bit of benefit for everybody. So contact some of their cities in this program.
Find out how they funded it, $200 out.
Okay.
Because theoretically, how many are we gonna have?
Well, you might have 5 a year and that in the end,
$1,000 a year.
yeah, in the end, it's beneficial because we're gonna end up paying that in environmental fees
Right.
easily when we have chloride concentrations, and we're gonna have a new permit next year, so the numbers that we currently have are monitoring, so they're gonna base our whole permit off of.
Isn't there a lot of chloride in leaching?
Yeah, there's a ton. Yep, super high.
Okay, so everyone's happy with that, Courtney's gonna do more checking and.
Yep. See who offers that program.
Water report, well, and distribution system report and discussion.
All right, water on 10-5, we had a main break on Allen Street right outside, the police department next to an existing band. Well 4 split face, I can't say this ever, split face block is being installed if you've driven by. Windows, doors, HVAC will be installed next week. And the iron filtration tank, unfortunately, that was gonna be here in February, they delayed till April. Okay. Yeah, we have the.
Where's it coming from?
That's Arizona, somewhere else.
Yeah, like West Tech, wherever West Tech is,
What is the medium in there? I mean, is it like charcoal, do you know?
anthracite, some of it.
Anthracite, some sand, there'll be some gravel in there. They layer it, I think it's 5 layers.
And that's, we didn't have that before, I think
Green
it was
sand?
all
Green sand is
anthracite.
called in there, yeah.
Yeah,
Won't that get all mixed up then when you backwind it? Must not.
It stays in individual cells and then it's tiered in there.
So we'll be hitting this building for the winter then?
yeah, yep. And then, yeah, then the work can continue inside all the piping and all that, there's a lot.
Should be plug and play when it gets here
Yeah, when the tank
Well,
gets here.
the electrical, we're waiting for these, master control panels, that's, I believe, first next June.
Yeah.
Because they gotta get built custom for us,
That'll
so
be the last piece
they
to
were
tie it
pushed out
together.
till next June.
So they built this wall in the back where they're gonna slide this iron filter and it's easily can be taken down when the filter comes?
Yep, well, it's a knockout wall there, so they're gonna panel it in for now, and then they have to crane it over the building and put it on skids and slide it through.
Oh, right.
Wow. Sounds exciting, huh? Well, I'll be there that day. Cathodic protection for the towers was inspected and passed today. Fall hydrant flushing is complete. Alley Street and Meadowcraft are both paved and landscaping work is being done as of today. And Town and Country discovered a lead service at a residence yesterday. So it was one, we've been in the house before, we looked at it, it's copper coming through the floor. So just outside the house, you never would have known, we aren't able
What
to.
street was this on?
Sites.
Site
Mhm. So it's all copper in the street, we had them look on the other side of the curb stop, so the street's been replaced, but
Must
there
be on
was.
the north end now.
Our mid-block,
Uh-huh.
433.
Yeah.
then? Can we replace that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
by
the homeowner,
ordinance they had to.
Oh, the homeowner.
homeowner has to. So that's, I guess, one push again, if we, continue, which I think we are anyway, for the funding for the forever, but we know there's gonna be more out here, so if we can help going forward, we'll do what we can on that. But yeah, that was one we could identify by I think we were down the street, the block foundation type is pretty, it coincides with lead like every time. And we did go in and check that one, but you know, you see copper, you can't do much about it. So. Homeowner was good, they've got it all replaced while it was open and it's done. Anything on water?
Did we break any fire hydrants during hydrant flushing?
I don't think so.
No.
Not.
Next is, wastewater report.
Permit reissuance is due by April 4th at 24. DNR wants it sooner than that, but our sampling kit has been sent. We have a whole bunch of different parameters that need to be testing for this permit. And we've also tested E. coli all summer too. That was something we had to do ahead of permit renewal. Documents are about a quarter complete for that, so it's probably gonna take a few months to complete at this point yet. Our wet testing, that whole effluent toxicity testing passed for October. We test again then in second and third quarter next year, for our permit. That's one thing we're also hoping with the permit renewal that we can knock down the wet testing schedule a little bit more, because right now we're in 2 different quarters every year, so I think we can at least go to once a year would be reasonable.
That's the fish test.
That is the see if the minnows gain weight, float, and die. Yep. That's about it.
But you actually gotta wait out in the water too, don't you? Take it upstream. don't you?
Yeah, we have to go in the river to get that, so it's not ideal when we have fourth and
Expensive.
first, yeah. fourth and first quarter aren't ideal for going in the river. Generally, not good. Surveyors and MSA staff spent the day with us 10/31, I think that was last Tuesday, locating and verifying current sewer plant details and specs. We found quite a bit of what we were looking for there and some interesting private utilities there too. We're also working on the northern property access as well for future sludge hauling. So far, we've had people pretty agreeable to allow access, so we'll be trying to work out the details for the rest of that. Debate between two, which way
Is
we go.
that a city street there? Did we ever figure that out?
It
Private
is,
drive.
it's a private drive,
That's asphalt.
that's asphalted,
So
and
we're
I
gonna-
don't know if there's any history as to why it was asphalted. I assume the city did that at one time, asphalted to the gate, because that is it butts up to city property.
Well, we'll see.
Affiliated would have never had any need to butt that drive up to there, so I'm guessing that's something the city did at one time. What?
Did you ever get back to him? From the guy from affiliated get back to you?
No, because I could first call him yesterday, so I'm waiting on him to call back.
That makes sense to go through that.
Yeah, and it's only twice a year. I mean, I'm sure we can come to some kind of agreement on either, maintenance, paving, something of that sort.
Public Works put that road to that fence there for whatever reason it was.
Okay.
Do that.
For them to access at one
Right.
point, okay. But yeah, it makes sense and,
That little cop building, Mike, would you know it?
oh,
You come in where that gate is, there's that little building with the cop painted on it. What is
Well,
it?
that was for the old lagoon system for Purity Cheese.
So could
that
that
was
be eliminated?
No, that could be not.
Cause that's kind of where the drive would go.
so was that
when
a
you switch.
sampling room or?
Yeah, that was like a controlled manhole, right?
Huh,
And now
There
the
was
city
lagoons.
owns that?
What's
That's
that?
city property then?
Yes.
okay,
Cause
so
that's,
that's something that could be worked into,
That building's still there, I didn't realize
Yeah.
that.
yeah, a little, oh, there's a cop painted on the side.
Yeah, right, they had their shooting range up there at one time, and they moved it back to its current location.
Okay, well, that's what
answer
We're
that
kind of-
question.
we're putting a sludge tank, kind of looking at. that.
Yeah, so we'd wanna come in with for sludge hauling, come in the back and have something that can kind of like circle around and back out and not go into the residential areas, so. And it's twice a year, so it's not the disturbance that it is.
But there'll be a lot of trucks, probably.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
the hauling companies too, and I guess before working here, last couple of years experience, they're short people too, even a few years ago. So usually I've seen like two guys and they just go from 5 AM to, 7 PM as much as they possibly can. And then 2 days worth of hauling and they're exhausted and we're done, so. 2 days spring, 2 days fall, they probably should.
Anything else on wastewater?
This probably isn't on wastewater, but it has to do with going down the sewer. This Piggly Wiggly thing, can you look up before next month's meeting? We gave them adjustment here in the past.
We did, yeah.
And what year was that, do you know?
I wanna say 2021 off the top of my head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't pull that.
But it doesn't go, it goes in the sewer.
I don't,
Where
when he
else
was
would it go?
talking about it going right into the ground, I didn't
I
understand.
didn't understand that.
There's no
I'd
base.
expect a dishwasher would go into a
And
drain.
nobody can hear this running, if you're running that amount of water, I'm just looking at these amounts here, geez.
Well, we had a
Yeah, you're
similar issue at a Quick Trip store.
It's like exactly.
It was exactly the same issue
I
as
was
a
gonna say,
solenoid
the
that
solenoid
was
stuck
stuck
on a
open.
coffee maker.
Well, we had some problem there and they had we gave them an adjustment here and that wasn't that long ago.
No, you're right.
So I'm sure that's what's back.
And there was one when Nathan Kempke was in charge here, I remember they had issues out there, but that would have been Jerry Moulton.
That's Jerry was down there.
Anything
So
else on,
I do not.
now we'll take a motion to go into closed session.
So move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
He gets to do his job.